I make my own.
Martial arts.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Then bring them together. And then when we do yoga, you see, everybody knows yoga, at least nowadays in the US, right? So when yoga and Bharatanatyam come together, so we do something called Garuda Mandala, which is also part of, in yoga, it is done in the Surya Namaskar, no, in the Surya Namaskara second version. There is a Virabhadrasan, which will look like Garuda Mandala. But we don't, when they are slightly different, but depending on how you use it, with the breath, with the body structure, then it gives you a much more beautiful line, because you're not just thinking, oh, let me hold my hand like this. You're thinking more how to breathe into it. Then the lines of the body, because dance is not just about like looking pretty. I don't think like that. You have to, nobody look, when you see us close up, we don't look that pretty, especially after dancing, we're sweating and so all that is happening. So it's about creating beauty in this space with body and facial expressions. And my teacher would always say you have to dance from the hair of the head till the toenail. That's how you dance, which is true for any form. But I think sometimes when you train in one specific form, you just think, if I wear this costume, then if I smile, then I'm all done. That's not what.
Every part of your body should
Yes,
bring the same
yeah.
expression out to the
Yeah, it
audience.
has to be in sync with what we are trying to do.
So, what kind of stories in your performances do you portray? So far, what have you done, like different plays?
We have done. I've collaborated for a long time with my husband Raju. He writes some of the scripts for my work. So he adapted Mahashweta Devi's two stories, Hunt and Draupadi, to stage. So Mahashweta Devi, right? So obviously we did it in English translation, not in Bengali. I don't even read Bengali, so so that's a story. One is about an indigenous woman in India, and it's her struggle against the patriarchy and her, the deforestation and everything that's happening around her. So that I created as a solo. So I do the speaking and dancing. And then more recently, I did a piece called A Story and a Song, which is on tour now. We were in Lincoln Center last month, and we'll be going to the New Jersey Performing Arts Center soon. And so it's on tour. We are going to New Hampshire, and this coming Tuesday we are in the dance complex in Cambridge. So that story is actually based on, main stories are the three different folk tales. Two from Southern Indian folk tales and one Native American folk tale. So all these stories I collected over 4 years or 5 years, and then I made a script based on all of the stories. I also did several workshops with women of color in Boston area, collecting their narratives, to link it to the contemporary context. So in that one we use aerial dancing. I never trained aerial dancing when I was young, but for this production I went and did the Malcolm and Anil and there is it's a Malcolm is a Maharashtrian traditional, what do you say, like a rope art. So you buy those things. You train in putting the rope, and you climb up and down and make dance on that. So for training we use the actual ropes, but for the performance we used a different set with fabric and all that. So the main story is about a woman who has the power to become a flowering tree. So then I was thinking, how do we create this thing so grand, which is like this woman suddenly turns into a flowering tree. It's not a movie. We can't do like an edit and then here it is, the graphic. We can't do that. And so I was thinking, so it has to look that grand in terms of like how it is done on stage. And maybe it's like when we think of tree, it's always grounded, so rooted, Maybe what if it's suspended? What happens, like still we create the grandeur without actually losing the notion of the tree. So then I started playing with having these fabrics and hanging on them. And so instead of, so we do a lot of yoga positions on top of the hung fabric, and then there are these moments where they come out, and then yeah, and then like you see body spinning across the stage holding the fabric. So you create this entire tree on stage. Suddenly, like these small bodies, like I'm so like a small person, and even like the other two dancers in the production, Anil and Pradesh, they are also small frame. So it's not like we can stand and like do a tabloid kind of thing. It doesn't, I mean, I am not too fond of tabloids, so it doesn't work for me. So I thought when we are like in this motion, people can see the tree, the flowers and everything coming out. So it's created through the body and the face and the singing, and yeah.
Everything merged into it.
Yeah, yeah.
So from a person who doesn't understand the classical Indian dancing, it looks like an opera kind of thing, does it? Or
Yeah, it could, because we do a lot of singing. But in opera, the story is told through the song.
Right.
Here, that's more like Bharatanatyam, when you say,
dance action.
yeah, you do the song and the dance the same way. But this is more theatrical. It's more like a Broadway kind of thing where, sometimes we sing, sometimes we speak, sometimes we dance. I mean, lot of dancing, and then there is in Story and a Song, there is a moment where this woman is being tortured, the woman who can become a tree. So there is a moment where I go upside down on the rope, and then there is this moment where the whole arm, everything is deformed. So you see this like a figure, the head is upside down. So from audience perspective, the head is hanging like this. My leg is up, and and I sing from that position after dancing. So that moment, like I don't have to say, oh, now she's tortured, so she's lamenting, she's crying. Yeah, you see that, and I sing, then people start crying. I don't have to say a word, So that is not, you don't have to have classical training, you don't have to have ballet training, not yoga training. As long as you know, you have the heart to watch it, So
talking about Broadway, do you have like a dream?
Yes, one day I want to,
want to be on
make a production which, maybe one of these productions can be
go to
set
Broadway.
there. Yeah.
So right now, as of now, like you said, you've been to Lincoln Center, you've been to various places, Canada, India. What is the best experience that you have had so far?
And for me, to be very honest, each production is very important. Each show is like, whether it is here, we do sometimes, invited audience rehearsal. That's as important as going to Lincoln Center. That doesn't mean we don't rehearse extra for Lincoln Center, but what I'm saying is each place brings its own positive and negative. So when you go places like big places, you don't really see the audience because they are so far away, and you just artists, and pretty much you never meet the people, because when you go to change, people are already gone. But in a smaller place, you get to meet them. Sometimes there is a talk back or something, then you actually see who came, what happened and all that. So I always think when I dance, I don't necessarily care who is in the audience, but when I make my art, I care very much for the audience. Yeah, when I'm thinking always like, I want people to understand. I'm not an artist who will say, oh, I don't care if they don't understand. I don't come from that place of arrogance. I always think what I'm doing is to reach them. So yeah, so they should know what I'm not meaning, like no word to word, not oh this gesture means this. It's not about that, but some emotion has to reach them. So in that sense, oh God, so many places. We did. We opened the Story and a Song. It was premiered in India for an international theatre festival called Bahurupi. So that was one of my, one of my favorite shows, because it was a theatre festival, and like dancers don't go there to perform, usually. But I was very honored that they invited. No, but it's not a dance place. It's more like for theatre people. Yeah, but they have beautiful lighting and stage and everything. So everybody would want to perform there, because it's like a place where artists come and watch. And so I was very honored to be invited for the opening show. So that show I liked because it was artists, theaters, like stalwarts of theater, Girish Karnad, those kind of people were there in the same day, and there were also common people who would just buy a ticket and come inside to watch. So it was a mix of all that, and everybody loved it.